shit. Here we go again.
Low, low, man. Low, low,
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read contracts instead of conventional pornography, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Andrew Esquire. In this legal mindset, we teach you to be your own judge. I'm happy to be with you here on this lovely evening over here in Asia, and it is great. It's great to be here live with you guys. This one is an advanced course in defamation, but and as you're going to see on this video as well as the fast facts, this is a super important case. And when I first saw this, I saw the people involved and said, is this going to be big? And I looked at the facts and I'm like, this is a kill shot for fake news journalism, not just Cat 10 bars. This isn't just about Alexa Nikolas and Cat 10 bars. You may not be super excited about either of these people. You may not like them. Like me, you may be apathetic about both of them. Really, I'd forgotten about Cat 10 bars for a while, right? But what this will spell is a return to journalistic ethics and a return to fact checking, a return to having to actually back things up and issue retractions instead of just doubling and tripling down on your narrative, right? This is one of the most perfect, pure legal cases I have seen in a long, long time where there cannot be a deflection based on some other irrelevant thing like politics or gender or nationalism or anything else, right? This is a purely legal issue that is going to absolutely snipe fake news journalism. This is why I think it's huge. That's why I'm going to cover it. I do have a PP for you today, but in addition to that PP, we've got the actual document. So if you want to just get pure PP, you're going to want to check my fast facts. That's, of course, PowerPoint for those that are new, for those that don't know. And as you see me talking about PP, it's my PowerPoint, right? It's my substantial PowerPoint actually on this one. But we're going to go through the whole document today. We're going to go through a lot of what's said, maybe not the entire document. There's parts we'll skim and hit. But we're going to go through more of the real document, more through the analysis of what's said in the live. Of course, we got the comments here. We got all that stuff. If you like comments, you like super chat, you like to interact, stay here on the live. If you don't like the comments, if you're going to complain about the super chats, everything else, stick around for go to the fast facts. It'll be dropping in like an hour or two and just go to that, right? But it's good to see everybody here today. Like, see, Death Trooper, he wants PP. They all want it, right? If the PP isn't large, we don't want it. Exactly. Come on. I give you guys what you want. Advanced course on how to use the PP. Hey, everybody in the chat. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, let's read some super chats here. Kid Loco said, good morning. Let's go. Don't come late. No, I did not come late. I came exactly at the time that I expected. By the way, in the poll, which was the pre-chat poll, how do you like your scuff? 10% say late, 46% say spicy, and 45% say original recipe. I think we're cooking a little bit spicy, a little bit original recipe today. Fallen Hero, who's been a member for 19 months, dropping 5 legal mindset memberships. Thank you so much. Yes. Hika dropping another 5 there. Thank you. Giving all my haters
emotional damage.
Hate to see those memberships, but I love them and chat loves them. And if you receive a gift membership, please just say thank you. Express gratitude to the people that give those. About 40 to 50%, sometimes 30%, depends on the month, of any members are gift memberships. Those are, they're just free memberships that have been gifted. So you get access to members only streams, which I do, which are very casual, kind of AMA. We talk about other topics. I have many things people are requesting me to cover. Many. I don't get all those during my main streams where I try to focus on one topic per stream, but the member streams, the member chats, we just do whatever. We do rapid fire. I look into stuff. I'll take time to go into stuff. They're really cool streams. If you get a free membership and get access to that, it's something you should say thank you for. Lumisa, as a new member, welcome. The KKF 1015, welcome. Neko Girl 862, what's up? Says, hey LM, glad to be able to catch on live. I'm glad you're able to be here too. Thank you, Neko Girl. Maddie says, Senpai Mind Scuff. Can an anime girl tell me to F off? You want an anime girl to tell you to F off. Okay, I think we have a solution for that. Where's the right one here? Okay, I got you.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
But we're problem solvers here on the Legal Mindset. Taylor Clark Jenkins says, things learned from Mindset Legal. In law and the internet, Rule 34 is always about discovery. That's so good. Oh, that is a high IQ comment. Two, the word allegedly is a magic word. It is. Yeah, just throw allegedly in there. And it does so much work for you. It does so much work for you because instead of acting like you're 100% sure, you're like, okay, it's an allegation. And even today where, look, I'm not going to lie. Based on what I see here, I have a strong presumption that Miss Nikolas is in the right here because I do not think that you'd bring this type of claim. You'd go all the way to the mats like this unless you've got a really strong case. But I have to say that until it's proven at the end of the court, until there's adjudication, it can't be 100%. It's never 100%. You never know the way the judge is going to go. But I got a feeling, right? I got a feeling on this one, allegedly. Korea Brewing Adventures says, are you a Muse fan? Rock on. They're coming to Incheon. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, a lot of big concerts coming to Asia. I do like Muse. I like a lot of music. I'm a really big music fan. And yeah, a lot of artists are coming to Asia, and I actually have some friends that are trying to bring more American artists over here to this side, to Japan, Korea, Thailand, Southeast Asia. So I think that's a really cool thing that we get to share in music internationally. I think it's awesome. Artemis 199 says, PP goes live too early. Is that premature presentation? Okay, we have a reaction for this.
No. Wait.
Yeah. By the way, that's very relevant because we're talking Walking Dead today. Because one of the actors is from Walking Dead, or the actor Alex Nikolas was in Walking Dead. Warranty Wits at PP emote went, oh, I gotta make that. I gotta get. Let me make sure I do that. That's a good one. Lumisa says, as a VTuber anime girl, F off. You're welcome. What's up, Lumisa? Kid Loco said, right here, Miko FU is much better and funny. I know, it's wholesome almost. All right, let's continue let's whip out the PP. Let's get into it today. I'm not going to play around. No foreplay today. We're just going right into it. Okay. We've got Nikolas versus Tenbarge. Now, you may not know who these people are. And if you don't worry. I'm going to explain to you real quick. And we're going to get into law real quick. So, Alexa Nikolas, Nickelodeon star, celebrity. So she's famous, right? She's an actress. She's also in Walking Dead, which is where I know her from. I think Woodbury arc or Woodbury. I know some people are gonna correct my spelling. Gotta say it like Daryl. It's Woodbury. But yeah, she's pretty famous. And the one thing you notice about celebrities and about those that are famous is there are always those that are going to try to drag them. I mean, the same is true for people on the internet, right? If you get on the internet, people are going to drag you. If you're a celebrity, an actress, an actor, people are going to drag you. You're going to have people that love you and people that irrationally hate you for whatever reason. In fact, for reasons that may not even make any sense. They may be completely illogical. They may be based on somebody's completely ridiculous narrative that they've created of you, which is totally BS and totally false. But in their unhinged world, that's true. And in the unhinged world of unhinged worlds, you have Miss Kat Tenbarge, right? Now, I remember Kat. This is Kat over here. She's a quote unquote, and I'm going to put this in quotes. She's a journalist, right? A journalist. And I remember her from back during the day when I did Depp versus Heard. Many of you, D in the chat. If you guys found my channel during Depp versus Heard, or if you saw my coverage, maybe I was on somebody else's channel or whatever. If you put a D in the chat, if you were here for Depp versus Heard, some of you were here for that. I know, like my mods, Danielle was here for that, etc. You guys remember Tug, that umbrella guy? He was really big into this. Kat Tenbarge was Team Amber Heard, and she was delusionally Team Amber Heard, to the point where it was clear that Amber Heard was going to lose, and she was in denial. And this was a point at which the narrative shifted from Amber Heard has the legal right, because they knew she was going to lose, to this is misogyny. And anybody who says anything bad about Amber Heard is misogynistic. And that was the narrative that was pushed out during the coverage of Depp versus Heard, particularly against any internet coverage, certainly any man covering it. Oh, you're just misogynist. You're obviously going to take Depp's side, despite the fact that almost every lawyer, male and female, starting out that watched it with me, and I was on these streams with a lot of other lawyers, we almost all started out completely impartial. Maybe there was some slight bias one way or another, but most of us started out saying, hey, we're going to listen to the facts and see how this comes out. Maybe it's 50-50. Maybe they both defamed each other. Who knows? And as we watched the Depp versus Heard case, we saw it was clear that Johnny Depp was wronged here by Amber Heard. And the narrative that she said was not true. I mean, my dog stepped on a bee, right? Whiskey bottles that could clearly not, broken whiskey bottles, right? And I don't want to go into details because YouTube may censor this. But if you watch that case, you remember that these things were not medically or physically possible. And yet people like Kat Tenbarge wanted to transform the truth into misogyny. And this was the narrative they pushed, and they wanted to push this narrative. And unfortunately, because there are enough people that will latch on to these ideological narratives. Once again, I'm not trying to say it's just about misogyny. It can be about left versus right. It can be about religion. It can be about nationalism. It could be about your in-group, out-group. We're even seeing right now, as I've covered, civil wars on the left and on the right, right? People can say, I like this influencer and you like this guy, right? We see that with sort of the Hassan versus Hutch and all the other progressive people, right? They're all fighting each other, Destiny, all this sort of stuff, right? This can be a very, very, very prevalent thing. And the danger is when you get into your hug box, when you get into your little square of people that are all retweeting each other and you're not listening to any dissenting information. Once again, it doesn't matter what your ideology is or your group is. When you're not listening to anything else and you automatically presume that the other people are lying about everything, that is dangerous. That is extremely dangerous. And it's more so for a journalist because they are supposed to have, an echo chamber, right? They are supposed to have journalistic ethics. They are supposed to check, verify, and know before they say something and act like it's the reality, right? Yeah, exactly. Good old echo chambers. That's right. Good old echo chambers. Let's read some of these. Amber Toxica. Yes. Dark Angel. That's a long one. Is single word in Finnish and in Europe overall. Okay, that's a long Finnish word. So thank you for your long Finnish word. Thank you. I was just for some reason the continuation war came up on my random news feed today. So I was reading about Finnish history. But thank you. Shout out for that 5 there, Dark Angel. Ghost Economy for 35 ZAR says, it seems like people are getting dumber every day. Why pretend to be a journalist, doctor, engineer? It's crazy, bro. The thing is, look, you should be authentic. And at the end of the day, people are going to out you if you're not authentic about what's going on, what the reality is, etc. And with journalists, it's not asking much for you to confirm stuff. And in this case, this is perhaps the biggest case of laziness I have seen in a long, long while, assuming what Alexa Nikolas is saying is true. And I have a lot of reason to believe, based on the fact that she filed this case, right? Based on the fact that you file a defamation case. Remember, we've watched all of these other people saying all the reasons, and I've told you guys the reasons why to not file a defamation case. It's expensive. It digs into your personal life. It digs in your finances. It ties up your time. You may not even win, right? You may not get the money you think you're going to get. So she's decided it's worth that to clear her reputation. That is a Johnny Depp level thing. And when I see a Johnny Depp level, I am doing this to clear my reputation, my alarm bells go off. And this is the case. This is a case that is in that tune. Lumisa says, a milestone. I've become a homeowner in 5 days. Hey, cool, Lumisa. Thank you. 2-month milestone. And congrats on that. Congrats on your home ownership. That's awesome. Big W's. Okay. So what did Kat do this time? It's not about Amber Heard this time. It's not about Amber Heard. This time, it's about lying about sealed court documents. So Kat Tenbarge lied. According to Miss Nikolas's lawsuit, allegedly. See, there's the magic word, right? Allegedly. Kat Tenbarge said that Alexa Nikolas leaked sealed documents related to SA of an underage victim. If that's true, that would be vile. That would destroy somebody's reputation. Leaking sealed documents related to SA of a minor. That would be horrible. That would be a, what do you call, a career ender. That's a reputational nuke. And this is the claim that she was making. All this proves is you've been sending around sealed documents from Drake Bell's court case unprompted. As the text from you shows, I did not want them and you insisted, all in an effort to undermine his underage victim's testimony you previously defended. Oof. That is a hell of an accusation. And she doubled down. She's saying, don't these documents involve minors? Aren't they redacted? Very curious to know. Yes, they do. And none were redacted. So saying they were completely unredacted. Well, guess what? Alexa had something to say about that. Kat lied to everyone and defamed me with malicious intent. Remember class? New York Times versus Sullivan. These are both public figures, particularly, a journalist, a public journalist, and a celebrity. So it is under the malicious intent standard. So that's why she put that there. But it's poignant. Lied to everyone, defamed me with malicious intent. These documents shared privately to her via a G drive when questioned by her were not sealed. I sent them to show her they were not sealed. They are public redacted records. So not only were they public, they were already redacted and they're available at the Cleveland court. And listen to me, guys. If a document is available from a court website, that is the definition of a public record. And that is the definition of not sealed. If something is open and accessible, and you just have to click on a link, that is what's called not sealed. If something is sealed, you will not see it. The public will not see it. If the public has access to it, that is unsealed. This is a case where it is an A-B thing. Either the files were sealed or unsealed. There's no other debate here. If the files were sealed, then Kat Tenbarge is right. If the files were unsealed, then Alexa's right. You can't bring up anything. This isn't about conservatism or liberalism or, misogyny or misandry or, the ecosystem or anything else. It's about, do you like Hassan or Destiny or, Vosh? It's not any about it. And there's no political side, nothing else. It's pure law. It's pure law. Is this fact or fiction? This is why this case is amazing, because it's calling out clearly what is something that's easy to prove right or wrong. And if it's wrong, if Kat Tenbarge was wrong, what she did is absolutely vile. Right? Yeah. And some people in the chat are saying she'll make it about politics, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Because this isn't about, there's no conflict in here. It isn't about Ukraine. This isn't about Gaza. It's not about any of that, right? This is about, is it sealed or unsealed? Which is it? That's it. Peter Suvala for 10. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you, Piotr. And thank you for everybody who's supporting with the memberships. That really helps us out. Also, liking the video does. We have 1,400 of you in here. And if you guys hype this up and share this out, it'll get this message out there. And it will help correct these fake news journalists out there and get us in the right direction. Allegedly. Tiffany Tutrill says that's why people were hesitant to cover Laura Owens, Clayton Eckert. It came out that Clayton is the victim and she has to face a judge for 7 felonies. Oof. Mr. Paradoxum says thoughts on UK and Brazil trying to enforce their laws internationally and how likely U.S. courts are telling them to F off. I'm going to cover this on a separate one. That is a big one, but I think this is not going to work. I call it balkanization, we call it fragmentation, whatever you want to call it, of the internet is not going to. Each country can try to do their own thing, but they're not going to be able to force the entire world to do it. So at some point, and other countries are going to just say no. They're saying we're not doing that, right? That's not going to work. But that's a separate topic. Okay, let's continue here. So this is the biggest karma ever. This is the biggest karma ever. This is what Kat Tenbarge said about other people that are pretending to be reputable, etc., right? And it all applies to her so beautifully. This is chef's kiss, the biggest karma ever, and you love to see it. You love to see it. If you worked for a reputable news outlet and tweeted something blatantly false, impossibly false, you'd be disciplined, if not fired. Who is disciplining these bloggers? The legal system hasn't caught up to them yet, and they're causing real harm. She is literally the blogger she's talking about. She works for herself for a blog. Not some sort of big news agency, not working with the New York Times, something like that. No, and even once again, big news agencies make mistakes too. She is the blogger that needs to be disciplined, if not fired. This is 100% pure, unadulterated hypocrisy. And it just, I just see this and I see a case that's holding people accountable. And I'm like, this is what I love about the law. This is where the law is awesome. This is what I love. This is the stuff. This is the good stuff. This is the stuff I live for. Right? This is why I have a channel, right? Because this is the beauty of the law, is it can catch you in your BS and turn it around on you and say, no, you're going to pay the price for lying here because there is an objective truth and there is an objective false. And in this case, it will be very simple to prove. Kat Tenbarge, if she, is caught here in the act, she better settle. She better settle real quick, because that's the only way she's going to be able to save even a modicum of face on this, right? Who's going to fire her from her little blog, right? Herself. Warranty Void dropping 20 legal mindset memberships. Yes. Baked Buddha says, hello, Pot. I'm Kettle. We're both black. Exactly. And once again, Kat was saying this comment about somebody else. She wasn't talking, this wasn't related to this incident, but it's so applicable. It's so on point. Jan H. Kruger for 10 euros is just an argument to have certain jobs protected so not everyone can claim to be something. And I'm happy we stopped handing out press cards to just everyone. Exactly. And I think that, journalism, look, I want good journalism. I want good journalists, but I want journalists to have some basic ethics. It's okay to have a bias. I'm okay with journalists having a bias. That's fine. Everyone has bias, right? But at least try to fact check. At least try to come back and say, you know what? That's not true. And I'm not going to say something that's blatantly not true. If you want to say the truth, but spin it in your way, that's fine. We all get it. Everybody does that, right? But when you're going to just lie about things that can clearly be proven true or false, that's a problem. That's a problem. And you guys I think some of you guys are tying together some similarities with other folks out there. So of course, the FAFO, the find out, is the lawsuit, right? So the lawsuit, which is Alexa Nikolas versus Catherine Elizabeth Tenbarge, who's the plaintiff over here. Now, in the fast facts, I've got all this sort of stuff, and we'll still go through all that stuff there today because we've got the PDF. So we're going to go through the actual doc here and get you the good stuff on the live, because we like to do it in detail here on the live. Let's get this here. Where is it? Okay, here we go. So here's the lawsuit. Got it pulled up right here. Let's zoom in a little bit more. It's big enough for you guys. There you go. So we got the lawsuit here, and we've got Kat Tenbarge on Blue Sky. Oh, is that not funny? So once again, that quote about reputable news outlet and things being false, the hypocrisy statement, that's there. Getting a bunch of views. Look at this, 214K views. Look at that. Kat Tenbarge. Almost 2 weeks ago, I found out I was one of 40 people getting laid off at NBC News. Those who know me know I've wanted to go independent for a long time. Later this month, I'm launching Spitfire News. We need journalism that is louder than ever. So literally, she became the blogger. She became the blogger that she was worried about. It's so funny. Look at this. Look at this. Foreshadowing. Beautiful. I'm going to take some water here. All right. So let's go here. And this is a beautiful intro. This lawsuit is about a propagandist. Ooh, I like that. I like that language. masquerading as a journalist. Defendant Catherine Cat Elizabeth Tenbarge defamed plaintiff Alexa Nikolas. Tenbarge falsely stated that Alexa publicly disclosed sealed court documents and police records to attack an underage victim claiming sexual abuse. SA. Imagine if you're a celebrity and this becomes your reputation. You're done. You're cooked. It's over. If you are a celebrity that actually publicly disclosed sealed court documents to attack an underage victim of SA, your life would be over. This is massive reputational damage. This lie is a nuke to somebody's reputation. And it is vile that people will come out and say things of this level, but this is the internet. This is the internet. People do this on the internet all the time. And they just feel themselves to just go crazy and defame people and say crazy stuff. And eventually the right plaintiff comes along that's not going to do this. Yeah, if she would never work again. If this was true about Alexa, she will never work again. This is a case she has to bring to clear her name. It's like Johnny Depp. It's like Johnny Depp. None of this was true. The court documents and police records were public, nor did Alexa, a well-known advocate for survivors of abuse and assault, attack the victim. Rather, Alexa reviewed court documents and police records, which brought the public narrative surrounding claims of the underage victim into doubt, which is what you should do. That's what we do. We all on the internet, not just lawyers, of course, law tubers do this, but we look at court records. If something is a public court record, it is free game for analysis. It is free game for analysis. You cannot say, oh, it's sealed. Oh, it's something you shouldn't have shown. No, it's a court record, right? This is public record. This is the definition of public record. In fact, the court has looked at it and said, it's okay to put this out. Have it. It's the most transparent thing possible. And it's the easiest thing to figure out if it's true or not. You just call up the court. You figure out, hey, I got this file. Is this the file that's there? Or you just check the court website. You're like, oh, wow, it matches the court website. Oh, okay. To advance this false narrative and negative information on Alexa, Tenbarge facilitated Alexa's stalker to violate the restraining order issued against him. So this journalist, in her hatred, enabled a stalker. Beyond that, they went and relied on anonymous and other clearly biased sources to advance her false narrative about Alexa. Now, this is normal, but the stalker stuff, wow. Yes. Everyone in the chat's like, pardon? What? Yeah. And this is what happens when you get in your little echo chamber and you think that everybody who is an enemy of your enemy is your friend. You're like, oh, look, here's an unhinged stalker. They also don't like this person. Let me help them. Let me ally with them. You see what's happening right now. And by the way, you guys see this on the internet right now? What's happening right now is these people, and we see this happening right now. I'm looking at one golden boy of Twitch who's getting in trouble for this right now a lot. You guys know what I'm talking about. Is they look at people that are attacking their enemies and they're like, yeah, attack my enemies. And then when they look at that person too hard, they realize that person is even worse. And that person might be a criminal, might be committing defamation, might be doing all sorts of other nasty stuff. And they're like, oh, that was a mistake, right? It's a problem. It's a real big problem. But people in their hatred are going crazy. And they need to chill out with the defamation, right? Leprechaun Gold for 4. Thank you. Leprechaun Gold for 20. Thank you so much for that. Michael Muddragon says, reputable news outlet sounds like an oxymoron. There are some, they do exist. Gear Griffin says, oh, here we go. Phil Carlson, Thor. Bad News Badger for 20 says, late but live, 30 minutes. There we go. Okay, let's continue down here. So the lawsuit is to hold her accountable for intentionally and knowingly prioritizing the dissemination of false narratives over truth to advance her public standing. How many guys on the internet replace Tenbarge, right? Replace Tenbarge with somebody else. How many people right now on the internet are prioritizing a false narrative over the truth? How many people on the internet are doing this? It's a lot. It's a lot. So when I saw this, I'm like, this case, do you guys see what I'm saying here? This case goes beyond just Alexa and Tenbarge. You may not care about either one of them, but the precedent is huge. The precedent is massive. And if this case sets a precedent for truth, right? For truth, we can see lawsuits coming out the yin yang for a lot of your favorite, for a lot of, whether your favorite or your enemy, whatever, for a lot of online content creators. The reckoning will be coming for a lot of online content creators. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people out there that are just lying. Its implications are massive. Exactly. This case has way further than Alexa and Tenbarge. You cannot care about either one of them. If Alexa wins here, I would be sweating as an online content creator that's been pushing a false narrative. This is amazing. Garrett Griffin for 5 says, regarding the Stalker news, oh, good grief, Doctor Who. Yeah, it gets worse. It gets worse. Okay, so let's go down here. So obviously we know Alexa is an actress. We know she did roles on Nickelodeon and other stuff. The jurisdiction, it's going to be a California. It's going to be federal because Alexa's California and Tenbarge is New York. The amount of controversy exceeds $75K. And because venue is proper, they sued in New York because Tenbarge resides in Brooklyn. So let's give some of the facts here. So the dispute centers on Tenbarge's claim that Alexa publicly released sealed police records concerning former Nickelodeon star Jerry Bell, known as PK Drake Bell. As explained below, Tenbarge's claims were categorically false because the records were public. The state brought charges against Bell, entitled The State of Ohio versus Jerry Bell. And Jerry Bell pled guilty to attempted endangering of children and disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. The court issued Bell's sentencing order, which was entered on July 15, 2021. And they sentenced Bell to 2 years of community control and probation. Critically, the sentencing order stated the offenses are not reportable per Ohio's offender registry. The court records in the Bell case were never sealed and remain public. So it's obvious that these are public records. The court said in their own words, these are public records. Once again, I dealt with public record. This is what I did. I literally, like, for 8 years was Mr. Public Record, right? If you go back to my Disney case stuff, my special district stuff, you guys know me. I know the Sunshine Law back of my hand. I know public records like the back of my hand. If something is a public record, it is very clear. And a court record everywhere in the U.S., unless it's sealed and protected, if it's public, and you're going to be able to disseminate it, right? So let me continue here. Get in the corner. I'm putting myself in the corner. So Ohio has no law that automatically seals court records for criminal cases where the victim is minor. Rather, to seal or expunge records, the defendant must apply to seal or expunge them under the Ohio Revised Code. Nor is the victim of a crime entitled to seal all judicial records. Rather, the victim must apply to redact personal identifying information. With the sole exception of Bell's sentencing memorandum, neither Bell nor the victim have filed an application to seal, expunge, or redact any of the records. As such, with the exception of the sentencing memo, Bell court records remain public. So what probably happened here is some people internet lawyered. And this is the problem when people internet lawyer. And hell, I'll even call myself out here, right? This is why I double check with other lawyers. So for example, this is Ohio. I might call up my buddy Sean, who's an attorney in Ohio. Say, Sean, you know Ohio law. What's up with this? In Florida, we would deal with this differently. And he'll explain that, right? I called my friends in California, my friends in Texas, my friends in Chicago, anywhere else. Say, hey, what's up with your local law? Some internet people probably saw this and were like, hey, shouldn't this be redacted? Shouldn't this be sealed? And Kat Tenbarge, instead of going to a legitimate Ohio lawyer or calling the court, decided to go with, this is bad. This is bad. Because somebody on Blue Sky said it. I mean, once again, you can't make this up. You cannot listen to what people say on Blue Sky. Also, be very careful what you get from even AI, because even AI cannot synthesize the law correctly. You really got to talk to a local lawyer who knows the rules and knows the processes, because all this stuff isn't really dealt with properly, right? You've got to really talk to a lawyer. A local lawyer, a very local lawyer. Wedge Nearly says 10 Barge also docs libs of TikTok at one point. Yeah, and then once again, Wedge, my point is that she's been very comfortable since the Amber Heard days, attacking people, doxing people, and doing these things. And back in that day, with Depp versus Heard, she could say misogyny because Depp was a man. With libs of TikTok, she could say, oh, Bill, because they're Republican, they're on the right, so it's okay. And there's a certain amount of people that are going to buy that. With this, she doesn't really have that out. There's no political out here. Who Cares for 5 says, way off topic. Are you buddies with attorney Ogo Lord on YouTube? Is content? No, I'm not. But I'm happy to check good content out. I support other good content creators, and there's room for 1 million attorneys on YouTube because we can all cover different stuff. So I think more attorneys makes us better. It's a rising tide rises all boats, right? Dreamcatcher, how's it from SA? Thank you for your constant education. My pleasure. I try to educate and entertain. LM protecting his profession from listen, I'm not even grifting myself, right? I'm saying don't contact me, contact the local lawyer, right? I'm not your local lawyer. You're not a local lawyer for me. I'm just saying contact somebody. But let's continue here. So on January 30th, Ohio received a public records request, specifically said, I'm interested in the case files, the charge pertaining to Jared Bell. I'm interested in any videos of interviews taken by Cleveland police. They granted the request, and they gave nearly 50 documents related to the police investigation that were made public. All the PII about Bell's victim, the underage person, was redacted. So all of these comments about there being no redaction or whatever else, that just isn't true. That just wasn't true. Alexa's video on the Bell case. So Alexa received put up a YouTube video entitled Alexa Nikolas Exposes Drake Bell. In the video, Alexa covered the first New York Times article. Since the Bell video was published before New York Times corrected the second New York Times article, she incorrectly implied Bell as being an offender in the Bell video. Then Alexa discovers inconsistencies. So then the producers for Quiet on Set informed Alexa for the first time that Bell also had a prominent role in the documentary. Alexa was deeply concerned by the development. Due to the articles, Alexa believed Bell was a predator and registered offender. And of course, this ultimately was not true because, of the facts, but she said, I don't want to appear in the documentary. Kat Taylor, a journalist for Business Insider, attempted to assuage her concerns and sent her the court records and police records. After sending her the records, Taylor conducted a follow-up call with Alexa to walk her through the records. Upon closer review, Alexa discovered for the first time numerous inconsistencies between the information contained in the records and the online narrative about the conviction. This is massive. Guys, this is what we do all the time on this channel, and this is what we see happen all the time. When we look at the Carfax, when we check the complaint, we check the evidence, we show the Carfax, we see that the narrative that people are saying is often completely BS, and it's not tied to what's happening, right? Oh God, just the other day, talking about Somalia, see people saying, oh, there's a fourth deepfake charge. What are you talking about? There's no fourth deepfake charge. There's no court record for that. What are you talking about? Stop talking about that, right? There are people that want to push a narrative. Maybe they want to get clickbait. Maybe they want to get attention. Maybe they want to get something else. And so they're trying to keep pushing and pushing and pushing online. But when you look at the facts, you look at the documents, right? It's just not true. And to me, in my personal opinion, the truth is more important than pushing massive clickbait or pushing a narrative. That's my personal opinion. Now, other people may feel differently about that. And that's their right to feel differently about that. But when that turns into defamation and turns into a lie that harms somebody else's reputation, that's a problem. You can spin opinion, but when you are denying facts that will be damaging to somebody else's reputation, that's a problem. That's a big problem, right? Yeah, check your facts and sources. Journalism 101. 101, right? This is it. And once again, guys, this goes way beyond. Don't think about this just for these people. Think about all the other content creators that are doing this, and they're not looking at the actual facts. So you see, based on the records, right, contrary to the online narrative, the forensic evidence that contradicted the victim's testimony of SA. The witnesses were not strangers, but aunt and chaperone of the victim and an individual who frequently photographed Bell. Bell did not send or exchange nudes with the victim. When Bell learned the victim's age, he disengaged communicating with her immediately. And 5, Bell was not required to register as an offender. So all of these narratives online were false. But guess what? Guess who was invested in that narrative? Miss Kat Timbarge. So Miss Kat Timbarge was dug in so hard on that narrative that it was impossible for her to look at the facts. Come on. This is what these people have been doing. This is what these I call them fake news journalists. I know that being because I'm political, these fake narrative journalists, because it can occur on the right, left, center, everybody. It can occur anywhere, right? They're pushing a narrative, a propaganda narrative. Well, actually, let's call them propagandists. That's the term they use in the complaint. These propagandist journalists that are pushing propaganda over the truth. And I think we need to go back to the truth. That's my message. That's what I try to push here on the Legal Mindset, is let's get back to the truth, right? Let's get back to objectivity as best as we can do it, because we can do better, right? So Alexa makes her video private, which is what you should do. Look, if you screw up, you should go back and issue a correction. You should private your video. You should go back and make it right. And that's the honest thing to do. Hey, you screwed up. Everybody screws up. I screw up. Everybody screws up, right? Just say you're sorry, but people can't do it. I'm looking at you, Pirate Software. People catching strays today. So many people catching strays today during this one because this is not just about this, right? This is not just about this, right? Just take the L. And you'd be surprised that L is not as big as an L you think it is, right? And people will still listen to you. Chat's good. Sorry. I had to throw that one out there, guys. I couldn't resist. Okay. So on March 23rd, 2024, in response to public criticism of Alexa's decision to private the Bell video, Alexa tweeted that she would go over the Bell records during a live stream on her YouTube channel, which is the right thing to do, right? Go over the records and clear the record. An anonymous online account exposing Rich falsely claims Alexa published sealed documents. So this is a huge thing. And we see this all the time. Shit, I've seen this all the time happening to me, happening to other people. Random online accounts. Suddenly there's an anonymous online account with no followers, exposed or whatever else, that comes out and attacks you when you go against the narrative, right? Funny how that happens. And what do they say? This is the go-to of the internet. And this is disgusting. It's vile. And it happens to everybody. What do they call you when you go against the narrative? And I don't even want to say this word, right? It's disgusting. It's vile. But that's the exact same thing. As soon as people put some money in the swear jar, for this one. Guys, by the way, did we hit the goal yet? How are we doing on the goal? We're only two yellows in. Oh man, we're far from that goal. But that said, this is what happens, right? Don't you know what you expect people to think when you refuse to condemn Drake Bell and talk about his victims? So these are people that will try to bully you into their narrative. They will try to bully you into believing them and say, if you do not take our narrative, we will do this to you. We will come up with these sock puppet accounts, right? These anonymous accounts, and we're going to call you every name in the book. Yep, it's Umo, right? It's all sock puppet accounts. And by the way, yes, this did happen during Amber Heard case as well. This had happened. Max Mura says, Max of Friends screwed up. He said, I do. What's up, Max? Glad your friend got married. Good for him. James Wong, as a new member, welcome, James. Welcome to the BLM, Basic Legal Mindset, the best membership out there. And you see more here from these anonymous hater accounts. Alexa Nikolas did not receive permission from Drake Bell's grooming victim, once again using that loaded language, to deep dive into her records for a effing podcast. I confirmed this today. So once again, did you really? Warranty void for 100 Norwegian kronas is some dash for the swear. Thank you so much, Kopu and Kop, for that. This is intense, but it's important. I also like how they're using the you. It's weird. I'm not Guinevere Beck. Like it's you. Come on. You're not that deep. You're just some random anon troll. She hijacked the movement from an actual credentialed advocate and a social media expert. They had a falling out. Alexa locked them out of the accounts they started. And so once again, the anonymous troll. This is the entire file. It doesn't take very long to diligently read. It can be read in 20 minutes. The issue is not content. We should have to sit through several of your long videos to get the information. You should be sharing it freely. So this one makes baseless claims that the records were under seal and there were a limited number of records, and that California, where Bell resides, seals all offender reports. That's not true. That's, once again, false statement. Consent of the victim is necessary to disclose the California offender report. So once again, this is a strong case because all of these things are either legally true or false. And the fact that Kat Tenbarge, for these things that are literally, is it true or not? Is this correct or not? There's not a matter of opinion on this. It's, is this the law or is this not the law? Black and white. And she's lying about that. And they feel free to lie about that because they've gotten so far. So Tenbarge published an article for NBC. At that point, she wasn't private. She was with NBC. And she cited the anonymous account. So she literally goes and uses for her journalism, for her journalistic effort, is citing an anonymous account. And this is what we see online all the time. We see journalists, mainstream media, and other people calling themselves journalists, but they're really all fake journalists, right? They're using online, uncredible, unverified sources that nobody else can verify, nobody else can back up, nobody else can see but them, nobody knows who they are, but they're citing literal internet anons as credible sources. These journalists, let me just make this clear. These journalists are citing anonymous X accounts or blue sky accounts as sources. And then here's what happens. Once the NBC news article comes out, you get a big streamer, let's say Chank's nephew, right? Who will go out and cite this and say, well, it came from NBC News, so it must be legit because it came from NBC News. You get what I'm saying? This is why you need to dig a little bit deeper. And this is why we go a little bit deeper on legal mindset. I've always done this. I've always tried to drill down a little bit deeper to the source records because you need to verify. You need to look at the actual court records, the things that are objectively true, and say, based on what we have that's objective, is this correct or not? If people say their source was Reddit, I'm very sorry. Warranty void. Some Dosh was rare. Oh, thank you for that. I think I got that ready. But thank you so much for that. Thanks for the support. Thanks for everybody who support me, guys. Smash the like button. It's free. It's completely free. Go deep, though. Yes, go deep. Okay. Let's continue here. Tenbarge went on the record as saying Exposing Rich, this random anonymous troll, is a great account. So Tenbarge considered the Tenbarge article to be her magnum opus. Since its publication and filing, she pinned the article at the top of her X account, hoping to use the Tenbarge article as a springboard for other articles concerning the participants on Quiet on Set. Tenbarge received her opportunity to make another article on the participants of Quiet on Set. Shortly after April 10th, Tenbarge became aware that Alexa's stalker, Manny Shift Haley McMurray. So once again, Tenbarge now learns about Alexa's stalker and now is enabling the stalker. Think about how unhinged that is. Filed his own request for a restraining order against Alexa. As explained in detail below, Tenbarge used the stalker's filing as documentary evidence to support her investigation. She literally is using a stalker against her. Amazing. Such fake journalism. Background on Haley McMurray stalking and harassing Alexa and her family. Haley McMurray has repeatedly stalked and harassed Alexa, her husband, and her young daughter. Haley McMurray was a former volunteer for Alexa's survivor organization, Eat Predators. So Alexa, once again, as opposed to what Kat Tenbarge wanted to paint her, it appears she was a supporter of survivors and an advocate. After being asked to leave the organization, the stalker made numerous threatening posts about Alexa and her family. Additionally, the stalker moved from Marin County, which is 8 hours away, to 10 minutes from her residence. That is creepy.
No, 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 no. Wait, 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 wait. Wait, 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 wait.
Yeah. Table Turn says, I trust the sources on the bathroom stall walls more than I trust these journalists. That's true. Hey, listen, Table Turns. Sometimes those bathroom stalls, they have some real truth in them. There's some deep moments in those bathroom room stalls, especially if you're a little tipsy. Let's continue. On 3 separate occasions, the stalker stalked Alex for hours on end. Below are some screenshots of social media posts the stalker made about Alexa and her family that were submitted in reports. So look, here's the stalker, right? Look at this dude. Look at this dude. That's creepy. I'm just looking at the picture. That's creepy as hell. If the universe tries to rip one more thing I love out of my hands, they're going to be cold and dead. Chill the F out. Let's start being nice. One day after physically stalking me, oh, you're a leftist? Name everyone who has left you. And saying Alexa Nikolas is someone who left him. Daily reminder that Alexa Nikolas is not the leader of Eat Predators. Alexa Nikolas has been deeply harmful and divisive to survivors. Alexa Nikolas has stolen work from several marginalized survivors. Alexa Nikolas has refused to take accountability for tyrannical displays of dismissive power. She and her husband are childish chumps with too much attention and no solid ethics. They're opportunistic in damaging ways. So here's a post about him, right? Archiving, building, and deleting. It's the future, Andy Warhol. Bless your broken, cruel, beautiful mind for calling our shots. Kill your idols. Who are gods? Who are masters? Lean into your fires, Phoenix flock. Parlor tricks, glue and popsicle sticks, love bombs, burn bridges too. It's not as bad as I thought it would be before happening to me, but it's still hell. The wickedness is near anxiety, consuming the salt of my skin, licking my bones to taste the sort of my spitting. You knew I was torn between being a body and being a spirit better than most. Yeah. Okay. More stuff here. More physical stalking, right? A case report from stalking. I do threaten people. I threaten people who lie, abusers, manipulators, grifters. Try me. It's my legal right to do so. No, it's not. No, it is not. So all this other proof of stalking here. So clearly we've established this person has a stalker. Alexa had a stalker. Alexa had a stalker. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to go down here because I want to get to it. So 10 bars. She relies on uncredible and highly biased sources. Oh, actually, hold on. Before I do this, let's get some of these chats. Cheetah Duck says, my source is I made it the F up. Hold on. I got you.
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
That is Kat Tembarge's meme right there. That is Kat. You know what? She's kind of got, no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say it. I'm going to get canceled for saying that. I would be canceled for saying that there's any relationship between the senator and Kat Tembarge. I would never say that at all whatsoever. I would never say that at all. That is a great game though. Japanese Demon Lord Abari Lucifer for 10 says, talking about journalism, I just recently found out the journalism degree was created by General Robert E. Lee himself. Do with this information what you want. And they call these folks racist. Washington Lee University, great law school. Almost went there myself. I got an application. I got more money from my alma mater than from Washington Lee, but almost went there. Kwang Lee for 5 says, sorry if this is a repeated request, but could you look into the new Texas bill SB 20 that went into effect? I have talked about that multiple times. Now, there may be some follow-up on that, and I may do like a quote-unquote war on anime, because there is a weird, wacky, I was underestimating it. There's a little weird, wacky war on anime, so that may be a separate thing. But that's a whole separate episode. So let's not get off rails here. Right? I love you, weebs. I love you, but another episode. Right? Another episode. All right. Additionally, Michaela Colleague Higgins emailed Alexa stating she was in contact with 10 bars and likely one of 10 bars' sources. As explained in greater detail, Salinas and Higgins are highly biased and unreliable former associates, so they're relying on bad info. Salinas is a former volunteer. When Alexa met Salinas in person, Alexa observed that Salinas was wearing an ankle monitor. So Kat 10 bars relied on the information of somebody who was wearing an ankle monitor. Salinas claims it was related to allegations she kidnapped her child across state lines. once again, you really got to be careful where you get your information. And beyond that, you see Selena sided with the stalker and lashed out against Alexa in public. They created an anonymous account called Abuse of Power. So this is seeming like so many of the spheres online. Do you guys not see what happens here? The haters all end up teaming up together, and it's this band of just absolutely the worst of the worst that team up against you. This is what ends up happening, right? With the ball of haters. And whenever the light is shown, whenever you shine a flashlight on the haters, they end up being the worst of people. They end up being the absolute bottom of the barrel, right? When you actually look at who they are. The reason they're hiding behind anonymous accounts is if you found out who they were, you would not be surprised. They would be the most degenerate, worst people possible, right? And they're projecting their criminality on others. They have over 4,000 tweets attacking Alexa. That is unhinged, right? So you got it right here, just coming out here, attacking her, saying, please do not fall for her red herring rebrand of global activism. Do not support her. She is dangerous, entitled, ignorant, and most importantly, unsafe for survivors. God, how many times have you guys seen this online? Like, A in the chat for anonymous. If you guys have seen this happen with anonymous accounts online that just are totally unhinged, they come out of nowhere, they try all the worst tactics. A in the chat if you guys have seen this. I've seen it. I want to know if you guys have seen it. Yeah. Okay. We got a lot of A's here. Got a lot of A's. Yeah. Yeah. This is the crazy stuff that's going on right now. This is why you need to be very careful when you see anonymous accounts and assume that they're probably full of BS, right? If they're not an established account, especially if you don't know who they are, you don't know their face, you don't know whether there's some bot farm or whatever, right? You got to be very careful with your information. Very careful with the information. But what you don't need to be careful with is 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Let's continue here. The way Alexa continues to lie, so they're calling her a liar, they're calling her fan base sick, over and over again, trashing Alexa. And you see Kat 10 Barsh is signal boosting this. No, Alexa Nikolas harasses victims herself. She just made a live stream harassing me for trying to report on it. No, I think what she was trying to do is probably clear the record, and you are pushing a narrative that, as we see here, was defamatory or allegedly defamatory. So you got this also Higgins, who's another volunteer, who demanded monetary compensation for protesting. That's somebody who's in it for the right reasons. You know what? Whenever you see somebody who wants monetary compensation for protesting, that's a real winner, right? And stated she would not engage in any advocacy unless she was paid. And by the way, let's be real talk here. We know a lot of people that are engaged in advocacy, that are out there advocating for stuff, are really paid actors and are on the payroll of somebody, right? Maybe not directly, maybe it's indirectly, but we all know this, right? And it exists on all sides of the spectrum for all causes, right? There are people funding people to do things and to push certain narratives. That's absolutely 100% happening. So this is not surprising at all. But as somebody, if you want your group to be ideologically pure and you're saying, hey, I want to run a group of people that actually believe in this and that are actually willing to volunteer, because the word is volunteer. Volunteer is not employee. An employee is paid. A volunteer is not. So if you want to be a volunteer, join this group. If you want to be an employee, go look elsewhere. That is absolutely your right. You do not have to give people money. Right? It defeats the entire purpose of volunteering. Exactly. But nowadays, some people feel entitled to have that response, right? To have that payout. Let's continue here. Scrolling down, 10 Barsh facilitates the stalker's breach of the restraining order. So now we're getting into the part where Kat Tenbarge helps the stalker break their restraining order. This is evil. Tenbarge emailed the stalker. In the email, Tenbarge acknowledged the existence of a restraining order against the stalker. In the email, Tenbarge asked the stalker several questions about Alexa and the restraining order. And there's a copy of the restraining order attached, of the email attached. Shortly after, the stalker responded to Tenbarge. In a written statement, the stalker violated the restraining order by utilizing Tenbarge to communicate indirectly with Alexa, including several false disparaging messages about Alexa. In the email, the stalker requested he have until May 7, 2024 to provide his official comment. The stalker sent a follow-up written statement to Tenbarge. In the email, the stalker violated the restraining order again by discussing and disparaging Alexa. In addition, the stalker provided 2 links. The first was to the complaint in Milosh versus Gibbs for malicious prosecution, a case involving Alexa's ex-husband initiating a malicious prosecution against Alexa's former attorneys. And on August 9th, the court granted the former attorney's anti-slap motion because the complaint made a connection what the proceeding was devoid of merit. That is good, right? So anti-slap means strategic lawsuit against public participation. Anti-slap is a method to get rid of BS lawsuits. So essentially, this was a BS lawsuit and it got gotten rid of. And that's what the stalker felt like they were linking. And this happens a lot too. Stalkers and weirdos fixate on evidence that is not real evidence. So they find something that's not real evidence and they pretend it's real evidence because if you don't look hard, you might think, if you just take a glance, you're like, oh, wow, whatever. And nowadays, people have ADHD or whatever. They have no attention span. Let's say no attention span. I don't want to talk about disorders. I'm not a medical doctor, right? Not a doctor, right? They have no attention span. So what stalkers will key in on is just surface level attention span. Oh, I just glanced at this and it looked like this, right? And that's damaging. It's very damaging for people. Very damaging for people. But guess what? Tenbarge took that as fact. Tenbarge took that as good journalism to use these sort of standards. The goldfish brain. Yeah, people say blame TikTok. Yeah, I mean, that could be it. Also, QB gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Let me give a little thank you here. Yes. Mr. Paradoxum says, I'm convinced that 90% of those accounts and the gimmick accounts are foreign agents. You might not be wrong. But listen, we can never pin it down. Could be a bot farm, could be foreign agents, could be people that are trying to cause dissent. There's all sorts of things. So that's why just be very, nowadays on the internet, be very, very wary, vet your information, find your trusted sources, the people that have been consistent, that have been reliable, that have been objective, that have a commitment to the truth, right? And if they make a mistake, they're going to correct themselves. And there are people like that out there. You can find them. They do exist, right? And I think that's the sources you need to rely on. Lisa O for 5 says, reminds me a bit of the scandal with sock puppets and the Japanese YouTubers from a few years ago. Why make up stuff to push your views? Because of revenue and money and advertising, right? So why people view bot or why they do these things is to push a narrative and make it seem legitimate. When really, if you look behind the curtain, it's not. Tatiana M says, is it possible she could be charged for not only defamation, but also doxing and emotional stress? Because stalker, by the way, love you. And thank you. Love you guys too. Love all of you guys. Yes. So I'm going to show you the cause of action here. She only sued for defamation, but she could add on more. She could add on intentional infliction of emotional distress or other things there. She could do that. That's definitely possible. And other cases that involve defamation do. And we see that in other cases where they add on emotional damage, right? Let me just, we'll say it in a way you guys can understand.
Emotional damage.
Legally emotional damage for, Uncle Roger there. I need one day, if I get Uncle Roger to actually make a custom one for me, that'd be great. But that said, so, it's a real big problem. Let's continue. And it's something where there are damages when you are hurt by that, and there are repercussions, physically, mentally, your mental health. It's very possible. So NBC themselves came out and took down Tenbarge's unpublished article. Tenbarge said the article didn't come out because Alexa wasn't viewed as a well-known enough person. So literally, Ken Barge is coping and seething. And I guess I can play a little bit of it. I know it's the outro, but let's play a little bit of it.
You are coping, seething. You just.
There we go. Okay. That's some big cope to say, well, you're not famous enough. You're not famous enough. So that's why it didn't come out. I mean, that's not true. That's not true. Tenbarge attacks Alexa through Adam McIntyre. Any way possible, right? On September 8th, 2024, Alexa made a post on X that contained a picture of Tenbarge with a caption, "One of the reasons I took a break." In response, Tenbarge deployed her close friend and gossip YouTuber Adam McIntyre to attack Alexa. Tenbarge has been friends with McIntyre since he was a minor. Ooh, this sounds bad, right? Indeed, in a notorious episode, Tenbarge provided Adam McIntyre alcohol when he was 16 when he visited the U.S. That's a crime, I believe. I don't think Tenbarge is a parent. Typically in the U.S., you cannot give alcohol to someone if you're not their parent. So yes, that probably is a crime there. Tenbarge is also responsible for saving McIntyre's YouTube channel after YouTube terminated his account for harassment. McIntyre released a video and told the truth about Alexa Nikolas. So it's one of these kind of exposed videos, right? And let's see here. McIntyre attempted to provide Tenbarge's alibi to support her claim the Bell records were sealed. If someone could please redirect me to maybe a place online where Alexa has said she has them or knows how to get them, I would love to know. I would really love to know. All I know right now is Kat called the court and the court saying for the amount and, the subject, that it would really only be lawyers. But I would love for someone to direct me a place. Well, Alexa literally put a link. So let's go back here. I'm going to pull out my PP again. I know you guys missed my PP, so let's whip it out again for a second here. Let's whip out the PP again for a second here. Just for a second. Just for a second. So here we have literally provided by Alexa on her own account the link to the Cleveland court. Right here. Whipping out the PowerPoint. Right? She provided that. It takes 2 seconds to confirm this. Come on. Come on. Sigrun says that's Stephen He. How dare you confuse one Asian for another? Canceled. Google Doc coming. I know. I'm done. Oh no, I'm done. I'm canceling.
No. Wait.
I've been almost canceled too many times. If you guys know my long career, like the long man, my long career on YouTube, I almost canceled. Okay. I always pull up. Let's go back to this. Tenbarge is defamatory. So all of these things that are going to be said are defamatory. So Tenbarge made a series of posts that she knew were false or were made in reckless disregard for the truth. So this is the standard. This would pass the standard for New York Times versus Sullivan. So all of this would pass the standard for New York Times versus Sullivan. Once again, the big statement, all this proves is you've been sending around sealed documents. Once again, easy to prove lie. Was it sealed or not? From Drake Bell's court case, unprompted, as the text from you shows, I did not want them and you insisted, all in an effort to undermine his underage victim's testimony you defended. This was before I confirmed with the Cleveland court that these docs were not publicly available, and before I opened the files you sent me and saw that they were unredacted and bore no evidence of being submitted to court in the first place. It was very disturbing. They were not marked by county and city. They appeared to be internal documents used by Drake's legal team. Yes, they do, and none of them were redacted at all. That's not true. You did no such thing, and that would be called a FOIA request. It would take months and years to get documents back, and they'd be heavily redacted even if you received them at all. That's not true. That's not true. They certainly would not send hundreds of documents containing private info like you sent me. And once again, she thinks she's a lawyer. She thinks she knows what is private and not. She thinks she knows better. First, she said she got them from the court, then police. So interesting. Courts and police famously love to give random people hundreds of documents concerning alleged SA. It's famously very illegal to tweet and live stream images from those documents. Well, that's not what was exactly going on here. And yes, there are court files you can get from certain cases, especially in certain states. So yes, easy to prove these things are true or false. Notably, all the documents you can access through this method are the documents you sent. They're public records, around 30 pages containing no personal information. You sent me hundreds of documents from the case itself. And then she doubled down, saying all my sources are survivors who went to Alexa for help and support, and they were betrayed by her. So saying she betrayed survivors, saying the documents are sealed. You getting the point here? Sealed documents. She posted a sealed document. Alexa, you're going to leak the sealed. So she said over and over again, doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on the documents being sealed, and went on a YouTube storm. So you see the videos here addressing Alexa Nikolas. Alexa Nikolas is her own biggest problem. Alexa Nikolas is back and angry. Alexa Nikolas posted personal documents. The truth about Alexa Nikolas. Alexa Nikolas, e-predators and public perception. Alexa Nikolas versus Cat 10 bars. Alexa Nikolas leaks the drive. E-predators new low. Accountability of Alexa Nikolas. You see all over and over and over and over again. Just can't let it go. Right? Just can't let it go. So let's get down here to the to what she wants. So the prayer for relief, what she's asking for in this case, is compensatory damages in no event less than $150K. So she's asking for over $150,000 punitive damages to punish and deter 10 Barge's misconduct, and costs, attorney's fees, and other relief. This is so important, guys. There are so many people out there that need to see this punishment, because they need to see the fake news journalists and the others that are spouting lies on the internet need to see that there are serious and massive consequences for lying. And when they lie, they're going to hit those consequences. So I think it's merited to give punitive damages. It's merited to give those attorney's fees and the compensatory damages. Now, of course, Alexa has to prevail here, but I absolutely think that Alexa filed this knowing the truth, because if you knew it was a lie as a plaintiff, this would be a stupid case. It's so easy to knock you out of court. Cat 10 bars could win right away, if this was not true. So my lawyer instinct here says that Alexa Nikolas is got the high probability to win this. And once this is set as an example, I think people need to listen and fear. Now, I think a lot of people will write this off because they don't care about Alexa or they don't care about Cat 10 bars. But I am going to be sitting here rubbing my hands together, doing the legal coverage of all these fake journalists, these commenters online, these propagandists online that are going to go down for their lies. And oh boy, we are going to have so much fun on this channel covering all these people out there that are lying their teeth off. It's going to be amazing. And I am absolutely here for it. And I'm glad you guys are here for it. And hopefully you smash that like button. It's infinite content machine, guys. Infinite content. So much PP is going to be had for this. So much PP. But I wouldn't leave you without some fast facts. So guys, hang in there. Check out my fast facts as the condensed version of this. Share this out. Get hyped up for the fast facts. Go join that. I'm going to go join that chat right now, and I will catch you on the next one.
You are caught in the ceiling. You just can't believe what you're seeing. Yes, you're caught in the ceiling. The truth it is all day, and now you are more than you're coping so hard. Coping, you see it. Coping, you see it.